welcome to this week's episode where we're going to destroy the taboo of talking about mental and emotional illnesses.
We now return to our regularly scheduled program.
I'm going to tell you guys a story about something I did this week in social media, and I promise you it has a point, so bear with me. Last week I gave you guys an introduction to who I am and a little bit about my past. After I posted that video, I went to social media to ask somebody to help me out. I was thinking about having a co-host for this show, someone that might be able to have a dialogue with me. And what I really wanted by that was for someone to be able to ask me some of the general questions that a person who has not gone through mental or emotional illnesses may be foreign to. I needed that co-host or that person that was going to interview me to have no background with mental or emotional illnesses, whether experienced by themselves or one of their close family or friends. I believe that that would help give us the most raw kind of interview and conversation possible. So when I posed that question, I did kind of have a hidden agenda, so I apologize for anyone out there that I might have tricked with this. The responses that I got were overwhelmingly similar. They all said, "Good luck, I don't think you're going to find someone that has not been affected either personally or by a close associate with some kind of mental or emotional illness." So that's kind of the point, right? Everybody that I know, everybody that my friends seem to know, everybody that my friends' friends seem to know, have all been affected closely by their own or somebody else's mental or emotional illnesses. So then why is it such a taboo to talk about? Why is it something that we're afraid to approach in this kind of a dialogue or with each other? I have a couple of theories about why we're so afraid to talk about this subject, but I'll get to that in some future posts. For now, let's just talk about destroying the taboo that is the discussion around mental and emotional illnesses. One of the big reasons why I want to destroy this taboo is because I believe that destroying that taboo will actually open up lots of windows, lots of doors for people to actually relieve some of the burden that they feel on their shoulders that amplifies that stress, that burden, which in my experience actually contributes to amplifying that mental and emotional illness. So one of the big burdens that I felt in my life was that no one really understood me. As I was going through some of my difficult moments, that was one of the biggest things that prevented me from overcoming the burden that I was feeling at that time. I always felt like I was alone. No one understood what I was feeling at that moment. They didn't understand what I was trying to convey in my messages to them. They didn't understand how to help me. I didn't even understand how to help me at some points. I felt utterly and completely alone. And I know that that's what causes so much of the pain that continues on once we start in that cycle. But once I came to the realization that I was not alone, that other people felt those same things I did, that other people felt alone, misunderstood, not understood at all, that helped me to feel understood. It's a strange dichotomy, but I think it's very real. And it honestly initiated a lot of what helped me to overcome my circumstances. I think there are two parts to being able to understand that principle. One part is internal, introspection, and the second comes from our outside influences. That could be a family member, a close friend, a doctor, a religious figure, anyone that you feel is best able to provide you that external observation and understanding. And the best place for this to be done is when you're in a state of calm, peace, happiness, a time when you're not going through an active episode. Deciding how you're going to act in advance of being inside of an episode will give you a much greater advantage when you do hit an episode. Now for me, I had a very hard time being honest with myself. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be everything. I wanted to have what everyone else told me I was supposed to have, right? I was supposed to have a hard work ethic. I was supposed to be married and start having kids and a family. I was supposed to be doing really well in school. I had all these external influences that I was allowing to dictate how I was living my life. Now to be fair, those are all aspirations and goals that I wanted for myself. I just wanted them at a different pace than the world, or than I interpreted the world wanting them to happen in my life. So that's step number one, is being honest and open with yourself. And that's a big part of that introspection. And I promise you it does not happen overnight, but as you practice it and think through your processes, the things that you really want, that you desire most, finding your passions, finding your hobbies, finding what you're excelling at. Those are all things that lead to you understanding more of who you are. And understanding who you are will help you become who you want to ultimately be. Because once we know the 2 points on a map, we can start drawing a plan on how to get from point A to point B. Again, I'm not trying to oversimplify this thing. This is not something that happens overnight. It's something that takes a lot of trial and error. In fact, I would say that I still go through that process all the time. It's something that I feel never ends, and whether you deal with mental or emotional illnesses or not, it's still a really good practice. So the second thing that can really help you out is opening up to somebody else. A third party that will be really compassionate, understanding, and work with you at your pace. Because that's key. If they're not willing to work with you at your pace, if they're stuck on their own pace, that won't work. We're all running and operating at different paces in life, and that's just fine. Don't let anybody else tell you that that's the wrong way to do things. You have to experience life at your own pace. I'm fortunate enough to have a spouse that takes things at my pace when I'm going through one of my episodes. She was there during some of my darkest periods in life, and she's really helped me to overcome them, and my episodes have become further and further and further apart. Now, the reason I give her a lot of credit is because when I'm going through one of these episodes, there's somebody right there that's giving me evidence that I'm not alone. She's able to communicate to me in a way that lets me know she understands that I need space, I need time, but I need comfort, and I need acknowledgement. The things that are triggers to help me come down off of an episode. And that's why it's so critical to have that second part, to have that external influence that will positively help you. Now, one of the biggest roadblocks I've seen to getting that second part and finding that external influence is that this is a taboo subject. I know for me, I thought that this was something I shouldn't really share with anybody. I should keep this to myself. That was an undue burden that I was placing on myself and indirectly placing on my family and friends. I was unable to communicate with them the issues that I was going through. They didn't understand why I was acting the way I was acting. And so when they didn't understand me, you can only imagine how much more alone I felt. So that would take me from an already heightened state of emotions to going through the roof on that scale. That's why I believe it's so important to dispel the taboo that exists around this topic. We need to be okay with opening up to people. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to go grab a camera and upload videos to YouTube like I'm doing right now, but I am suggesting that 1, you open up to yourself and realize that this is an okay thing to be going through and that it's not unusual. You're not alone. And 2, having that external resource, that confidant that you can rely on to understand what you're going through and bring you up from your lows or bring you down from your radical highs. Those are the people that will be able to help equalize your emotional state. I know it's not an easy thing to build up that courage it takes to be able to openly express the emotions you're feeling, maybe even the fact that you don't understand what you're going through. That's okay to not understand what you're going through because you're going to be working through this process through time. Those people that really love you, they're going to be there for you, even through your misunderstandings, even through that mystery that you're not quite sure what you're working through. Allowing yourself to open up in those 2 ways will give you that much greater of an advantage as you're entering into an episode, because you'll have made up your mind beforehand how you want to act, how you want to be treated, and that'll help the person that you're with to back up a little bit, have some perspective on the situation, and now they'll understand even just a little bit more what it is that you're going through, which will let them ease off and not get frustrated or annoyed or confused. They know that there's light at the end of the tunnel for you, and you'll understand now there is light at the end of the tunnel for you. You're going to come through that episode and you're going to realize that you just conquered something. I remember the first time that I went through one of those episodes with a predetermined path as I was going through it and with someone beside me who knew what that path was and knew how I was feeling. Most of the time coming out of an episode, I would feel super defeated, like I just lost a war. But now I come out of those states of mind feeling victorious and feeling a greater appreciation for my wife who's there with me through most of that. I honestly believe that opening up in this way will destroy the taboo around this discussion. And if we're able to destroy that taboo, I really do believe that it's going to open up windows of opportunities for the world at large to better understand these situations. I believe it'll spread more compassion, love, and understanding. And of all the negative things that you can see on the media today, I think love, compassion, and understanding are some of the things that need to be spread like wildfire right now. So you may not be ready to tell your story the way I am, but you can definitely help destroy this taboo. If you believe in this message that I'm sharing, click share down below and share it with a family or a friend that you feel would be positively affected by this message. Thank you for watching this episode. We're already receiving a lot of feedback from people that are helping us to understand what they're going through. They know that they're understood, that somebody out there gets it. That is why I'm making these videos. That's why I'm opening up. So thank you again for watching this video. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. There will be more videos like this every week. Normally I'd share some kind of bloopers or something silly at the end here for you guys to laugh at. But today I actually want to show some solidarity for one of my friends who's going through some really difficult times right now. This is one of his t-shirts, Lover's Gonna Love, and I think that he needs to be flooded with a lot of love right now. And so all of you lovers out there, I want you to go and flood his social media channels with just an outpouring of love and let him know that he's not alone. I'll link his social media down below in the description so that you guys can go and give him all the love that you have.